shit.
Ladies and gentlemen, how the hell are you? Jeff Keysel, Keysel Guitars. And I missed you guys last week. I was driving out to a race in Nebraska, and we decided not to do the live from the motorhome. We were like, we'll just give it a week. And I got back in first thing this morning from a long drive. We raced Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, 2 separate events, and got on the road, did a little bit of driving Sunday on the way home. And then yesterday I drove about 1,000 miles. And then this morning I only had another like 250 to go. So got home this morning, got the race cars unloaded, power washed them, cleaned them, detailed them, put them in the garage. And here I am. I came in just for this. I wasn't going to come in today, but since I missed you guys last week, I do miss these when I'm out of town or whatever. So I came in just to do the live. So we did have a great racing trip. I'll go quickly on that because I know you guys are here for the guitars. But we were racing out in Nebraska, and the cool thing about the event was we get there Thursday or Wednesday night actually. But Thursday they had a practice course set up, and it was a recreation of a course we've already had, which for the type of racing we do, you don't get to run the same course more than once. So that was really cool that they recreated our 2019 West course. So we got to put our cars on that track and see how they performed. And we already had data from how they were before, lap times. So the car was flying. It was really quick up until this front spindle broke. So the car was running it was running 1.4 seconds faster than it did in 2019. So the car was going quick. It broke a front spindle. And for those of you guys that don't know, the wheel bolts onto the hub, and the hub slides onto a spindle with bearings on both sides. And the spindle broke, so the wheel tried to come off the car while I was on track. The brake caliper held it on, thankfully, holding the rotor on. I kind of heard it, felt it, instantly just easily drove off the track and took it easy all the way back to my pit spot. And I had some people come to my rescue and send some parts out. Got them in Nebraska, ground out the old part, and it's a 2-piece deal, and pulled the custom part out of the stock part, put them back together and welded them up. So we were able to race. Zach, my son, was kind enough to put me in his race car for the first event that happened on Friday, Saturday. And it was great. We took first, second. Zach was ahead of me in his car, and I was second place. I was definitely happy about that. I just wanted to get ahead of the guy that was there, this guy Jason. He's normally first or second in the class. The past 6 years, I think either Zach or him have won every year. And so I got ahead of him. So I was happy about that. So the event was over. My girls got to drive a buddy's RX-7, so that was cool. And then we got back in the Beast. We got the Beast running Saturday evening, took it back on the practice course, running the same lap times. And then we raced Sunday, Monday, and Sunday we had really wet for first run. We're on rain tires, and we were way ahead of our competition, like 7-8 seconds ahead of them. Car worked pretty decent, and then I had forgot to make a couple of adjustments that I needed to. Made them for my second run. Car was quite a bit quicker. Track dried up a little bit more. It wasn't as wet. And then for third runs, the track was pretty damn dry, and I stayed on full wets. Still ran a really fast time on the full wets compared to my competitor was on intermediate tires, which is what I should have been on, but didn't make that change. So had a pretty decent lead day one, and then day two, dry, pretty warm conditions, and car worked pretty good. Had a little mistake on my last run, cost me about half a second, but overall the car worked good, and I took first, and my wife took third in that class. She co-drove with me. So that was fun. We had a good time, and got to see a lot of friends. Didn't get to do as much dinner and hang out as we normally would because I was working on the car. Between the spindle, Zach's exhaust broke, and so we were working on some different things there. But it was fun. It was a good time. Always good to get out to Nebraska. We love Nebraska. Those of you guys that don't know, Grandpa started this company, Keystone Guitars, in 1946 in Gothenburg, Nebraska. That was his first P.O. box. Grandpa was from the North Platte, Cozad, Eustis area, and I still have a lot of family back there. So at some point we hope to get a place in Nebraska again. I had some property back there, and it was all kind of tied with the family, and for whatever reason, when Grandpa passed away, he wanted us to sell it to the cousins. It was his wishes, so we honored it, but at some point I think we're gonna be buying some sort of a vacation property out there. So we'll see what the future holds for that. But without further ado, my deal of the hour, and it's less than an hour now because I've been yapping about racing, which you probably don't care about, but I do, and it was a lot of fun. Zeus Acoustic. If you don't have one, you need one. Headless, obviously, very compact, very lightweight, and when you plug them in, the tone on them is phenomenal. Yeah, acoustically, they're not as loud as a full body acoustic, of course. You can see how thin this is. But this one's loaded up with options. These are normally about $1,600. And then this one has a swamp ash top, a swamp ash body, which is going to make the guitar even lighter. And it's going to warm up the bass response on it, which for a thin body, that's not a bad thing. Mahogany neck, that's tongue oiled. This has a raw tone finish. This is an orange burst with a black burst around it, and it's got that beautiful raw tone so you can see the grain. The wood knobs, ebony fingerboard, 14-inch radius, standard neck profile, medium jumbo stainless frets, the diamond inlays, and I'm going to let this one go for $1,800 shipped with the case, even with all those options. This guitar is going to probably spec out right around $2,100 plus case and plus shipping if it doesn't sell on this deal of the hour while we're live. But if it does, you're going to get hooked up with an awesome guitar and a perfect guitar for like a racing trip, a camping trip. We're all getting ready to get back outdoors. Weather's warming up and we want to get out and do something. So pick yourself up this Zeus Acoustic, take it on your camping trip, and serenade your buddies while you're drinking Coors Lights. That's what we used to do on camping trips when I used to drink. But anyway, customer guitar. I don't have a top of the hour today, but customer guitar, here we go. We got a DC 600, and this one was ready. Is today the 1st? Second. This one was ready yesterday. This is for Muhammad, and we had an estimated completion date of 5/27. So we were a couple days late on it. Beautiful, just satin black DC with the bevels. You know, you can add these bevels here, and that's a no charge option to add these bevels. It's something that I removed the charge on. Love that bird's eye board with the black block inlays. Looks like he went with the beryllium neck and a lithium bridge. It's a great combo. Reverse headstock, of course, just super metal. And then on the back, tongue oil neck, my jam. I love tongue oil necks. And then he did the maple with the Purple Heart stripes. Of course, black hardware. So very cool build right there. And that one's ready to ship out as soon as we get the payment. We got another one here, and this one is for Christopher. And this one was done on the 1st as well. And the completion date was this 2 days prior, 5/25. So Osiris multi-scale, grape jelly metallic. Looks like just a regular alder body. Yeah, it is regular. Almost look roasted because it's so dark, but I can see it's a 2-piece, and we only offer alder roasted as a 1-piece. But that regular alder, look how well it matches that roasted maple neck. That's a really good look. And the neck is tongue oil. This is all satin. We have a roasted bird's eye board. You can see the beautiful staggered offset mother of pearl dots. Looks like actually the small frets. Is that right? Maybe not. Maybe they're just the regular frets. I'm so used to seeing jumbos. White pickups, white logo, the white cap knobs, just beautiful. And then the rear natural clear. So what's cool about the RNC option on this is this alder is matching that roasted maple so well. Just such a classy looking build. So thank you, Christopher. And anybody else that has a build that is close to completion or has been completed, make sure you get your final payments in so we can ship these guitars to you guys. We did have at one point about 50 guitars sitting here finished, and they need to be paid for. So make sure you guys stay up to date on that. And best way to handle that really is if it's within, depending on when you place the order, if you're getting within about 2 weeks of when it should be done, be proactive, call, get your payment in. And what that does, it's not going to get the guitar done any sooner, but it's going to get shipped sooner, because what'll happen is when we see one that's paid, right when it's done and it gets cleaned and passes QC, we ship it out. When it's not paid for, it gets put aside, and sometimes we don't get to that charge for even up to a week. So your guitar could be sitting here for a week without us shipping it out. So make sure you get your payments in even early. It'll help get the product out to you sooner. So let's do some questions.
All right, we got Scott Janzer. He's asking, how is the nose?
What's up, Scott? The nose is working pretty damn good. So what Scott's asking about is I had surgery on my nose to open up my air passageways. I had a deviated septum, and one side, my right side, was 80% clogged. So I got that surgery now. I think yesterday would have been 3 weeks ago, and it's a lot better, day and night difference. So hopefully I don't have sleep apnea anymore. We don't really know yet. I have another test. I have the test to get that checked out in about a week and a half, 2 weeks. But I've been going without my CPAP machine, and I'm not delirious or extra tired. So I think it's worked. Hopefully it's worked. And I've healed up. So it's still a little sore and sensitive, but I have healed.
Can you get a JB200 with
What's up, baby?
bridges?
The guitar of the hour sold.
You got the guitar of the hour sold. Who is this fine guitar going to?
David Catalano.
David Catalano. Thank you so much, man. Enjoy your beautiful Zeus acoustic. Look at that backside too. Just love that look. That raw tone, like in grain and everything. Just such a rad guitar. Thank you, David. All right, Brandon, go ahead. You were saying?
Can you get a JB200 with different bridges?
You cannot. Just the Floyd Rose.
How can I get my guitar shipped to Canada, and do you guys have financing options?
We don't have financing options if you're international, only for US customers. That's not on us. That's just the provider we use does not do international. And we ship all the time to Canada and worldwide. So just call my guys for more info.
Timothy is asking, has price gone up due to the cost of lumber?
Price will be going up. That's one of the reasons is cost of lumber, cost of paint, cost of sandpaper, cost of labor, cost of everything. So as costs continue to go up, we have to raise our prices. So we have not done that increase yet. That increase comes July 1. So a lot of people are going, hey man, any promos going on? My promo is my prices are about to go up. So I'm letting you guys know about it. So get one in the oven before they go up July 1. Every single model will be going up, and a lot of options are going to be going up as well.
Is the HH2 neck profile the same as other Keystone?
It is not, no. Well, technically, yes, the profile is the same. It's just thicker, but when it gets thicker, the profile does change the feel of it, because what happens is you end up with more shoulder here. So it ends up being more like a D profile because of the increase in the shoulder size. But the actual radius on the neck is not different. So
I ordered March 5th. Should I call to get an estimated time?
no, we don't do any status updates. So you just got to sit there and be patient like everybody else. That's all I can really say. I'm sure you're really excited, and that's awesome. But back in March, we were quoting 12 to 16 weeks. So, you're right in that time frame of being probably, July. So you're probably still 4 weeks out. But yeah, we don't do any status checks, no status updates. The reason why is everybody's going to want to know where their guitar is. And if I offered that service, I'd have to pay one person just to run around and do that. And you would all pay more for your guitars. Plus my efficiency would go down. So that guitar that would normally take 12 to 16 weeks, I'd probably have to add almost a week on, because when someone's walking around looking for something, we're all real friendly here. It's like, oh, hey, what are you looking for? And then that other person gets involved and they're helping. Oh, I think so-and-so had it, and maybe it's in tongue oil right now. And then, you go bother that person and they're like, oh, I just gave it to, well, now the staff isn't as efficient. and I'm not as efficient. I got to charge more. So I'm trying to keep my prices as affordable as I can. And so some of that visibility you guys would love to have, it will ultimately cost you more and it would take longer. So why not save the cost and get your guitar faster? So got to be patient. That's it.
Jared is asking, why don't you guys have a veterans discount?
It's hard to have a discount because we're working on the thinnest margins we possibly can. So if we gave everybody discounts for all these great things like veterans and active military and, anybody that's, serving in the community and postal workers, and you go on and on and on, and well, that's so many people. Well, then we don't make any money on the guitar. So I appreciate your service, I really do, but I can't. I don't sell to dealers. If I sold to dealers and also sold direct, I'd have that margin built in. I sell direct. It's the only way. And I don't have that margin to be able to offer discounts to, so many great people that have done so many great things for our freedom, our country, and just, life in general.
Timothy is asking, is it possible to do a DC 800 with a reverse angled headstock?
Absolutely. Call my guys.
Can you do a Buckeye burl top on an AJ1 or a carved top on the AJ2?
You can do a Buckeye top on the AJ1, and you cannot do a carved top on the AJ2.
Frank is asking, since the other side of the family no longer makes carbon amps, is there any amp recommendations for my future Kiesel?
It really depends. We used to use Mesa a long time ago, and now Gibson owns them. So I don't know what kind of quality is going to stay in there or not. I mean, we could have robo tuners on our Mesas at some point, and we know how that went. So I don't really know what to recommend as far as a major brand. KSR makes some really cool stuff. Omega, they make some really cool stuff too. Love my little battery powered Black Star. I would definitely check out those brands. A lot of guys are still using the Axe Effects or the Kempers. I know a lot of our recordings we use Kempers just because it's repeatable, especially if you're doing like pickup demos. But yeah, check out Omega and KSR, see what those guys are making. Make some really good stuff.
Have fan fret Vaders with Fishman pickups been released to the wild yet?
What was that?
Savannah's phone.
I thought somebody farted.
That's what I thought
And then I
too.
saw Brandon kind of giggle, and then Zach literally went like this. And I thought, I'm like, did somebody just fart? So Savannah, that was your phone?
Yeah, that was my phone.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah.
Okay, so fan fret Vaders with Fishman?
Yes.
What was the question though about
I
it?
said, have fan fret Vaders with Fishman been released to the wild yet?
Yeah, you can order one, man. Call my guys.
Is Charlie Robbins on the Kiesel website?
He should be, but he is a Kiesel artist.
Zach is asking, hey Jeff, do you know if the build estimates for K series are still on schedule?
Probably not, to be honest with you. Depending on how involved your K is, I'm pretty backed up. I have been trying to work on guitars too, as much as I can, but I did lose about 2.5 weeks of my nose surgery. My septum, I couldn't breathe in any dust. I did sneak in a couple of guitars in there where I wasn't supposed to, but they were a little lighter duty that I had to do on them. So I don't know, to be honest. More of our intricate builds, those are the ones that are taking longer, and more of our basic builds are getting done quicker. But that doesn't mean just because you have a basic build, it's going to be done faster. And just because you have an intricate build, it's going to take longer. Kind of really depends who's working on it and how many steps. Some of the finishes I do are like 4 steps. So I do a step on it and I have to wait sometimes a full day. And, I work on other guitars. So, it just kind of really depends.
Jay is asking, if you had to smoke a meal using only the woods you find in your shop, what woods would you use?
Probably alder, I guess. I would think that would probably be the best, alder. I don't know. I mean, I've used a lot of cherry wood. Apple wood is really good too. When we do a pork shoulder, we use apple typically, and it's really good.
Can I get a CT6 with 2 volume and 1 tone as an option?
2 volume and 1 tone. Possibly. Call my guys.
Pedro's asking, hey Jeff, I wonder if you have that floating top system in front of the pickups like the Alan Holdsworth guitar on other models.
Floating top system. You're probably talking about that like I-beam suspension. That would be the, as far as the way that one actually was, that would be the only one. And that was the Fat Boy you're talking about, which we no longer offer. The closest thing to that's going to be like our SH550. I would probably recommend looking at or the SH6.
John is asking, is it possible to get a gold top on an FG1?
It is. Call my guys.
Please say my name. His name is Raul.
What's up, Raul?
Derek is asking, is white pearl and mother of pearl the same thing?
Well, no. I mean, we call mother of pearl, but if other companies are calling something white pearl, I don't know if they're the same thing, you know, from another brand. We use mother of pearl or we use white acrylic for our inlays. Those are the 2 choices. So the white acrylic is pure white, and the mother of pearl is actually a shell. It's not a man-made synthetic. So if someone's calling something white pearl, it's probably a man-made synthetic, but I don't know that for sure. That'd be a great question for another manufacturer.
Alejandro is asking, I called today to make my payment and gave my card number, but the money is still in my account. What gives?
Maybe takes a day for it to transfer out. I don't know. But we'll get to you if you gave the info. My guys will dial it in for you.
When will we be able to get a solo with a traditional bridge and controls?
I don't know. Is that something you guys want?
Dale's asking, what's the maintenance on tongue-oiled necks?
You know, as long as your hands are clean and you wipe it down after you're done playing, it's very minimal. Depending on the climate you live in, and again, how clean your hands are and acidic your hands are, you can, you know, lightly steel wool it and then put on a coat of Minwax tongue oil you can buy from Home Depot. You know, it's very easy to do. Maybe you do that once every year or 2 at the very most. Some people, you never have to do it at all. Depends on how much you play.
Kay just texted me and said, I'm not a guy.
Yeah, she's one of my guys. Like, hey guys. It's like, that's gender neutral when you're talking about a group of people. Okay. And why are you watching this? Why don't you get doing some charge balances? Go in that back room and get some of these guitars out.
She hasn't seen you for a week. She's missing you.
She doesn't miss me.
Speaking of final payments, this next question is there a time limit to submit my final payment on an order?
There is, yeah. So once your build is done, if you have not submitted your final payment within 30 days, we charge a $100 storage fee. And then 30 more days, $100 storage, 30 more days, $100, and we cancel the order. But we keep the 300 each time, or the 100 each time, plus the 20%. What are you laughing at?
She said Flock's actually the one who's watching it.
Oh, nice.
How do I know which fretboard radius is the one for me? I play progressive metal.
A lot of progressive metal players will like a flatter radius, typically because of the playing style. I'd recommend taking a look at our 20. If you've played an Ibanez, they're typically 17. So our 20 is going to be what you're going to want to look at. Kay's got those mommy ears.
BJ's asking, can't wait for my ZMB4. It's my 5th Kiesel. Can you do Metal Flake with Crackle?
No, we can't, but thank you for your 5th one. That's awesome. So the reason why we don't offer Crackle over Metal Flake is when we do the Metal Flake, it's heavy Metal Flake. They're thick flakes, and we have to clear it We put 3 coats of clear, we sand it, 3 more coats of clear, and then that's when it's ready. Well, if we did that, then we crackle over it, and then clear that with 3 coats of clear, sand it, and 3 more coats of clear. That's just too much paint buildup, and I don't want to clog up the tone of the instrument. And also, too, to be honest, going back and like routing out all the pickup area and the bridge and all that, no. So we won't do it. We can do crackle over like some of our metallic finishes though. So it's not a metal flake, but you still get that metallic look, like our Lambo blue, Lambo orange. Color shift looks really cool with the crackle over it, so check those out.
Do you guys offer pickup covers on single coils?
We do not.
What does a walnut body sound like? Goodness.
It's typically a brighter sound, and a lot of guys for like metal music or quick pick articulation like it because it cuts through. Doesn't get muddy, doesn't get lost.
Aaron is asking, what would be your recommended tone woods for a Delos with marked singles and the piezo?
To be honest, if it's a Delos, I would leave an alder body on it. The nice thing about those is they have the Pickguard, and because the Pickguard, what we do, we call it a swimming pool route, is what it's called. And so if the Pickguard's going in this area, there's routing all in here, right? And all in this area. So it's kind of like having a chambered body, and you have that Pickguard covering the routed area. So alder's a great tone wood. I would just stick with that, to be honest with you.
How much are ebony tops?
Depends on what kind of ebony. You can call my guys and then give you more info on pricing.
What do you think of a swamp ash chambered body on a Vader?
I think that's great. Yeah, the Vader I had a swamp ash chambered body with a plain maple top. So anybody concerned about, well, I want lightweight, but I want to make sure I have good snap and attack, do that. Plain maple top, hardwood top. It's going to be harder than flame maple or quilted maple, so it's going to give you some of that bright tone back. But you have that warm body, and it's lightweight because it's chambered. So try that. It's a really good combo.
Scott is asking, if you order a solo or Aries with an Evertune, is the body slightly deeper than the other bridges?
Yes, it's slightly thicker. That's right.
Hey Jeff, an Aries with a black limbo body and mahogany top, a good combo? If not, what do you recommend?
I would say if you're gonna do that, you'd probably want to chamber the body out. I don't think it's a bad combo per se. It wouldn't be one that I would ever necessarily think of. I don't think of mahogany tops very often. So maybe just go with like a maple top on that, like a flame maple or something like that.
Does your beard have a name?
My beard does not have a name. That is a weird one. Zach's face, like reading some of these questions, like I know it's good already. I can kind of see Brandon and Jesse's faces, but Zach is like right in front of a laptop, so like the screen is really bright, and like I see the shit-eating grin like pop up, and I'm like, oh, okay, he's reading me a good one.
Edgar's asking, what's the price for having HSS on an Aries?
I don't know. You have to call my guys. I'm sorry. I think it's $100, but honestly, I don't remember.
Mark is asking, you once said the chambering in the Holdsworth is extensive. What does that mean?
It means it goes in extensive areas. I mean, it's as much as we could chamber it without affecting tone in a negative way. It's the best I could really say.
Can you guys do a stereo output for your basses?
I don't think we can because they're all active. If you wanted something passive, maybe it's possible. You could call Keith, my bass expert, if that's something that you're interested in, a passive bass that's stereo. Maybe we could do that.
Danny's asking, hey Jeff, who does the sparkle and color shift finishes?
Casey.
Hey Jeff, purple calibers or monster calibers on flamed maple with matching flamed KTB?
I like the Monster Burst myself, but it wouldn't be a Monster Cali. There's no such thing. So if you're looking for a Cali Burst, then I would go with that. But if you like the Monster Burst, then we could definitely do that. We also do reverse Monster Burst. So check that out. You can just Google that.
Should I get a DD4? I've been thinking about it forever.
You should. And if you're an August Burns Red fan, you're going to support Dustin. So, part of the proceeds when we sell one of these signature models go right to the artist. So if you love August Burns Red and you're thinking about it, pull that trigger, man. Support an awesome human being and great musician.
Vic is asking, can we get a solo with an F-hole?
No, you can't. Sorry.
David is asking, hey Jeff, what's your favorite finish to do on a guitar?
Probably the Arctics, also the fades too. Some of the fades I really like because they're so unique, and I can't do them all exactly the same because the technique on them and the wood, each piece of wood has its own color and tint, canvas wise. So fades are really cool. I really like doing those.
What fretboard would you recommend for a fretless guitar?
If you're not wanting to do the hard as nails, the clear coated finish over the top to protect it, I would just go with ebony because it's the hardest wood we offer for fretboards, and it's going to last the longest.
Sal is wondering, what happened to the DC models?
We still sell them. They're on the Kiesel site. There's one actually right here, customers.
Jay is asking, is there a tone difference between pickguard mounted and direct mounted pickups?
Yes, there is.
What are the pros and cons of a Tunomatic bridge?
I would say the biggest pro would be 2 screws, you're raising and lowering your bridge. So if you're not super handy or, tech savvy and you want to just slightly raise your action, if you can, just take a screwdriver and go half a turn at a time on each side, that's going to raise it or lower it. So that would be your advantage. Your disadvantage, some people that really have, aggressive picking, they can unseat the saddles because they don't have enough downward pressure on them. That would be the only negative I could see. A little thinner sound, because you have these posts that they're mounted to rather than, directly mounted to a plate.
Jonathan's asking, what translucent colors look best over Anti-Gash?
I like aqua probably the most, but also traditional burst looks pretty good too. If you're looking for a bright color, I'd go aqua. If you're looking for something more classy, traditional sunburst.
Nicholas is asking, hey Jeff, do you happen to know what the typical percentage of weight reduction is in a chambered body on a Kiesel, particularly in Aries?
On an Aries, depending on the body wood, you're going to be about 0.4 of a pound. You could be slightly more, you could be slightly less, depending on the body wood. Which 0.4 doesn't sound like a lot, but that's a big difference. If you pick up a guitar that's 7 pounds and a guitar that's 7.5 pounds or 7.4, it's a pretty big difference between the two of them, especially if you're doing band practice or you're playing a show and you're holding that guitar for 2.5 hours.
What guitar do you recommend for a lead metal guitarist?
I check out our Aries. Then you can pick bolt-on or neck through, 6, 7, or 8 string, and a lot of bridges to choose from.
James is asking, would an X Series 6-string bass be possible?
For the right amount of programming fee, sure. Call my guys.
Tim is asking, what is the current turnaround time on builds?
We're quoting 16 to 20 weeks right now. That went up from 12 to 16.
What do you think of Chris Ledford's LED fretboard, and how many calls have your guys gotten through him?
So I haven't actually seen it. Chris told me about it and sent me a picture, but that's it. I have heard it's cool. Chris explained what it'll do. So I haven't actually seen it, so I can't comment. And I had a couple of artists hit me up to ask if I did it, and I told them I didn't. But I don't know how many of my guys have had on that. I think he paid about $1,500 to have that done, just to give you guys a little heads up, how expensive something like that is.
Gary is asking, hey Jeff, what's the typical ship time after you guys photograph a guitar in pics of the day?
Oh, I don't know. It depends, because sometimes picks of the day, the guitar's not even done. So it's got to still go through, depending. Like when we do picks of the day, Jesse's just looking for really cool guitars. They could still have to go through QC, get buffed, get cleaned, get final teched. They might even be finally set up. So it could be a week later, it could be that same day. It just really depends on where he grabs it from. And please don't send an email saying, what rack did you grab it from? Is my guitar ready to ship? Just be like so stoked that your guitar showed up, and then that will hold you over to be more patient. I hope, right? I hope we're all on the same page with that one. Because we want to keep doing picks of the day and stuff like that. But sometimes, to be honest, we do these picks of the day, and then, we get like too much overexcitement, and sometimes it like puts a damper on what we're trying to do over here, and it creates almost more of a problem, where we're like, should we even keep doing these if we're going to get this kind of response or reaction or whatever? People will be like, my guitar hasn't shipped and it's been 3 days and I saw it in picks of the day. Just be stoked it made picks of the day. It means your guitar is cool enough to make picks of the day. So be happy, because we only shoot about, what, you still posting like 5 or 6, Jess?
Yeah.
And we ship like 16 to 25 guitars a day. So just be stoked, I guess.
I love that Aquaburst finish you did on the Hyperdrive with the burl top. Can that be an option on another guitar, like a Vader?
Absolutely. Call my guys. Thank you, by the way.
I don't know if this has ever been asked, but can you do an Evertune on the Delos?
We do not offer an Evertune on the Delos. We just added the solo not that long ago.
Christopher is asking, I know you don't do Floyds on 7 strings anymore, but if I provide the trem system, is that something you can get routed still?
No, I'm sorry, man. That ship has sailed a while ago.
Joey is asking, bevel delete on a Zeus or Osiris?
No, we don't offer that.
Why are flamed maple necks considered the weakest wood for necks, even baked flame maple?
Because the wood is weak. I mean, it's just not a strong wood. It's not quarter sawn, it's flat sawn. And flame maple doesn't have as much strength as plain maple. It's just the way it is. Obviously we would love it to be strong, but it just isn't strong.
Stuart's asking, what album is Jeff usually listening to while building in the shop?
I don't listen to albums. Like, I don't use Spotify. I use Pandora because I want, a range of something. So I don't want to just be listening to one thing. It depends. It depends on how long I'm going to be in the shop. It depends on my energy level at that moment, how focused I need to be, and if I'm creating or if I'm doing, customer work. If I'm creating something, typically I listen to the artist that I'm creating for. So if I'm working on a guitar for Lee McKinney, I'm listening to Born of Osiris. Will Swan, Dance Gavin Dance. Andy James, I'll listen to Andy James, So it just depends on what I'm doing. If I'm working on guitars for customers and I have a lot of energy, then I'm going to tone it down with I put on Duran Duran, honestly. Because I want to be mellow, calm. I don't want a lot of fatigue. I want to be able to work for sometimes 4, 5, 6 hours straight, and I don't want any I don't want to feel worn out. But if I got an hour and I'm I need to get my ass moving, throw some Kill Switch in, or Slipknot, or something upbeat that's going to get me going.
Cody is asking, hey Jeff, could I request a special piece of Royal Ebony board with streaks that color match a roasted maple neck? Or is that an upcharge?
So you couldn't request it like that. And what I mean by that is you couldn't say, hey, I want Royal Ebony that matches my roasted neck. Because it's not going to match exactly. But what you could do is you could say, yeah, I want to pay extra for a special piece of Royal Ebony that has streaks in it. That's something that is a reasonable request on our end, because we can deliver that. But trying to match the streaks to the roasted neck you have, it's not something we'll take. So If you want the extra streaks, we can charge for that and even attach a photo possibly. But that's the request. It can't be, it's got to match the back of your neck because we'll have to pass on that.
Not a question, but I ordered a ZM7 and I'm super excited for it.
Nice. That's awesome. Well, thank you.
Michael's wondering, can you match the color on the inside of a Zeus acoustic to the outside?
You mean like the sound hole?
Yeah, I guess what he's talking about, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's going to be whatever the body wood is. We're not going to paint in there. We have blacked them out. So this is swamp ash, and if somebody wanted it to be blacked out, we could black that out. We have done that. But we don't paint inside there. And the reason for that is, you know, oh, well, I wanted it bursted, and I wanted it bursted this much. It's like, nope. You know, and especially with our paint shop, we're so backed up right now.
Logan is asking, hey Jeff, can we do a CL6 with HSH or HSS?
No, you can't change the pickup configuration on that.
What headstock would match a roasted bird's eye maple fingerboard on a Delos?
None. Yeah, we don't do roasted headstock wood overlays, and we don't do roasted bird's eye necks. So the only way to get the headstock to match the fretboard is if we did the overlay or the neck wood was the same, which we don't do either, unfortunately. Sorry, maybe have it match the body wood. Probably the best, you know, body color, you know, whatever color you're painting the body.
Brian is asking, will Keystone Guitars ever produce a true acoustic guitar?
No plans to do that, and the reason for that, it's not that we couldn't do it. We don't have the room. You know, to do a true acoustic, you have to have steam benders, all kinds of clamping systems to be able to bend, you know, the body sides. Really, that's the hard part on doing an acoustic. And we don't have the room. We don't have the room, and we're busy. We love building electrics, and we're busy at what we're good at. So we're just going to stick with that.
Todd is asking, hey Jeff, very proud Australian owner of a stunning Aries. I'm looking at an Andy James 2 6-string with an Evertune and was wondering if there's much difference in these guitars.
Between what was it that he had?
An Aries,
Aries.
and an AJ2.
Thank you very much. You know, there's not going to be a lot of difference. The reason why I say that is more than likely your Aries is a bolt-on, as well as the AJ2. They're all made on the same CNC machine, the Haas CNC machines. They're going to have a similar feel. We just tailored the AJ2 to Andy's liking. So, and Andy liked the Aries a lot. He just didn't want to have a bevel, you know, on it. And so that's why we went with the crescent to, you know, model his first signature after. And then, of course, you know, the second signature.
Would you guys ever be interested in keytars?
In what?
Keytars.
I don't know what that is. So I guess not. The next question. I don't know what that is. Sorry.
It's like the keyboards that people wear. Like,
Oh
as a guitar.
no. Nope. I'm sorry. No. Maybe Joe Stone would. You can call Joe up here.
He'd love it.
He's our service manager. He'll probably talk to you for hours about that. So give Joe a call. 858 Guitars.
Zach is wondering, could you do a crescent that has a top and finish that looks like liquid red wine?
Liquid red wine. I mean, anything's possible. If you've seen a color of, like, let's say a sports car or automotive paint, and you want that, we could do that. If you go to like House of Colors and look up some of their colors and you see something you like, we could do that. Just call my guys.
Craig is asking, hey Jeff, hope you are well. What do you think of a black lima body and neck on an FG1?
Thank you. I am. You know, it's going to be a little brighter for an FG1. I probably wouldn't do it myself. And the reason why I say that is Frank wouldn't order that himself. So I would probably steer you either into alder or mahogany.
Have you ever thought about doing a small batch of an old carbon model?
No, not really. You never know what the future holds, but no, I haven't.
Jackie's asking, for the right amount of coin, is a multi-scale strat style with dual fishmans possible?
I mean, it depends on how much coin you're talking about. If you're really serious and you know what the right amount of coin means, you can call my guys. Just hopefully you're not thinking like $100 extra or something. But I mean, a lot is possible for the right amount of money.
Adam is asking, what is the neutral fret position on a VM7?
Our parallel fret is at the 9th. 12th. Ninth. All right, so I'm getting the spin the wheel just in time. Hopefully we get story time. I actually got a good one. Figures. Movie, TV recommendations. Shit. I think I had that last time. I did Snowfall, Peaky Blinders. What about a movie? Damn it, I can't think of a good one.
Invincible.
Invincible, what's that?
It's a new Amazon show.
Oh, well, I don't even know what the hell that is. The kid says Invincible, it doesn't mean it's any good though.
Brandon saw it.
Well, it doesn't mean it's any good.
It's alright.
Yeah, I can't think of movie and TV, so I'm going to do story time anyhow. Even though I hate story time. So we're racing. This is a story recently, and we're racing this week. And Zelda, our boxer, is in the motorhome. And so, she's a good dog, but she's a puppy, and she's a boxer, so she's pretty tall. She's long. And my wife goes back in the motorhome, and Zelda's by herself in there, and she's like kind of cowering. Well, she took most of the stuff down from the counter and smashed a banana, like got banana all over our floor, all in our couch and stuff. It's leather couch and tile floor, so it cleaned up pretty easy. And she chewed up a box of Kleenex and all kinds of stuff, just made a mess. So, we pushed the stuff further back on the counter now. And we didn't leave her outside because it was like 55 degrees in Nebraska. It was cold. And we didn't want to leave her cooped up in her kennel, because we're out racing for like an hour and a half. And we're still at the track, but we're, I don't know, probably a couple 100 feet away from her. So the second time, me and Zach finished racing, or Zach finishes racing. He's racing with us in the same group. And Kayla had flown home, so Zelda's in the motorhome by herself again. And Zach, what did you come back to?
Well, there was like a whole pack of Hershey's that were eaten.
Hershey's chocolate bars.
Yeah, she somehow ate the chocolate, but managed to not eat the wrapper, which was kind of impressive.
She unwrapped them.
She pulled down this bowl where we just keep random stuff, and their mom had like a glass pumpkin in there, and that shattered on the ground. God. And yeah, I don't really remember.
Did she have bananas too and smash them into?
Yeah.
She smashed up the bananas again and got it all over the couch and the inside. And she had Reese's too. Because,
yeah, she ate Reese's but didn't eat the Snickers.
Yeah, she wouldn't eat the Snickers, but she ate the Reese's, and she ate Reese's foil and all. So for the next like 2 days, like her poop had Reese's all like wrappers, like the foil wrappers in there. Dog didn't get sick. Nothing was wrong with her. She didn't even have the runs. Like if I ate that much candy, I would not feel good, but she was totally fine. So that is story time for Zelda Kiesel. She was definitely not excited about being a 11-month-old boxer with high energy cooped up inside the damn motorhome. So we did have a great racing trip. It is good to be back though. Again, I just came in just for this. I'm gonna cut out. I'm gonna go home and gonna rest and sleep so that I can do this all over again tomorrow. But it was a good time getting out there, but I did miss you guys last week, so sorry about that. We were hemming and hawing and going back and forth about doing it live while in Nebraska driving. One reason why I didn't really push hard about like we should do it is we were on a tornado watch. There was a tornado about 30 or 40 miles from us while we were driving through. So I was like, and it was real windy. The motorhome's getting kind of blown all over the place. So I was like, maybe it wouldn't be good if we're like live and, I'm so focused on that. I'm not paying attention to like if I need to pull over or something like that. So it was like literally right at about 2:50, we had a tornado warning watch. So Zach just posted that we weren't going to do the live. So, and the last thing I wanted is anybody worrying like, oh shit, be careful. We're careful. We've been in a tornado one time, me and Zach were, the big hail and everything, and it was pretty terrifying, to be honest. If you're not from the Midwest, you're from especially the West Coast, where we don't get anything like that. It was pretty scary. That was what 2018, Zach? Yeah, 2018. And we were leaving Nebraska and we were going to Texas down the 81, and I don't remember what freeway we transferred over to. I think like the 35 or something. I don't remember what freeway we were even on, but yeah, we had a tornado and the sirens were going off, and I could only go 10 miles an hour because it was so windy. Pulled off in a truck stop, and it was hailing so hard it actually pitted our windshield. There's like probably 300 dents on our windshield, and it cracked our windshield too in our motorhome, and we couldn't get out. Couldn't get out of the motorhome to run inside because the hail is like golf ball size hail, and some of it was baseball size. And I have never seen it rain that hard in my life. And the parking lot sloped. Not that slope, but like this sloped. And so we're parked. And when the hail finally stopped, me and Zach ran in. We ran through 3 or 4 inch deep water in a sloped parking lot. That's how hard it was raining. It was crazy. We got inside, and we were right by the storm cellar or whatever. And people were bringing in baseball size hails. And we were like, holy shit. My wife was crying, I called her. I'm like, babe, there's a tornado. I'm not joking. And she's like, she starts crying. Her mom was crying.
Yeah, because you hung up on her.
I'm like, well, it was hailing so hard and stuff. And I just want to tell her, look, hey, this is what's going on in case you're wondering. Look, I love you. We're going to be okay, though. I got to go. So I hang up, and she's like crying. So we got inside, and I called her back, and she's like, she like can't even like talk. I'm like, we're good. We're inside. We're fine. So the damn Midwest, man. It's crazy. On that note, thanks for hanging out. I'm sorry we missed you last week. If we can do something for you, please call my guys. Again, price increase coming July 1. So holding off till